As another year comes to a close, many awards and honors are being handed out, like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 winning Game of the Year. Are You Smarter Than a World War I Draft Horse won Underrated Video of the Year. The Math Sorcerer won Most Prolific Author of the Year, and this just in, the word slop is Merriam Webster's 2025 Word of the Year. Their honorary article begins, Merriam Webster's human editors have chosen slop as the 2025 Word of the Year. We define slop as digital content of low quality that is produced usually in quantity by means of artificial intelligence. All that stuff dumped on our screens, captured in just 4 letters. The English language came through again. It certainly did. In older usages, slop was a word meaning puddle, dung, to spill, or clothing, so that a tailor may be called a slop shop. I always used slop in its verb form, like Adam, Bo, Chuck, and Daryl watched as the lunch ladies slopped a sticky sphere of chicken rice onto their trays. But these days, one doesn't slop in slops or stop and pop into the slop shop, but rather one consumes slop. One lies in the slop, lathers himself in it as he doom scrolls and bed rots. If I had to pick, I'd give the 2025 Word of the Year to the word math. And naturally, I'm particularly interested in math slop, which, rest assured, we will spend some time lathering ourselves in. But where else has slop reared its ugly head this year? The Christmas season brought with it Christmas ads and a snowy mix of holiday slop. There was McDonald's bizarrely negative Christmas ad, presumably meant to be funny, but any charm the slapstick comedy might have had was vanquished by the AI slop visuals. Coca-Cola generated 3 AI slop ads, featuring things like shape-shifting trucks and the elusive, near-extinct Arctic sloth. Last year, there was Call of Duty Black Ops 6's AI-generated Zombie Santa loading screen. This year, we had Battlefield 6's AI-generated sticker art. This makes me think of popular digital trading card games like Madden Ultimate Team. Producers of trading cards in the past might have thought, man, imagine the profit margins if only we didn't have to actually produce the cards, and instead only had to design them. And now we're moving a step further. Imagine the profit margins if you don't have to do anything. While the word may be used particularly for AI slop, which can be generated in overwhelming quantities due to the major barrier of content creation, effort, being removed, the term slop can be used for human-generated content too. What's most important is that it's low effort and high volume. Some might even say slop has a you-know-it-when-you-see-it characteristic, but sometimes the line is blurry. For example, this wildly popular image originated on TikTok, and it's the center of what I consider a slop masterpiece. We could call the original image itself slop, since at a glance, it's not really meaningful mathematics, it's just a bunch of math slopped onto an image. I mean, there's a table of common trig values up here by the ceiling. What's the deal with that? Here on a step is the sum of the reciprocals of powers of 2? Okay. But the rest of the stuff here is actually fairly relevant to the image, so I wouldn't call the image itself slop. But that doesn't mean the image can't be stolen and turned into slop, which it was, to the tune of over 200 million views. Someone else's image and then the perfect engagement bait caption to make an all-time slop masterpiece. Math people won't be able to resist saying, no, that's not how we see the world. Other people might ask about or criticize the math, lol, what in the ever-loving shit does this have to do with an escalator? And many more riffed on the concept itself, turning it into a fresh meme format, birthed from the slop. As it turns out, X is filled with math slop of all kinds. Overreacting to mundane mathematics is one of my favorites. Who needs art when the family of power functions looks kind of like an onion, am I right? There's also math joke slop. This is a math joke. Is it really though? In my opinion, this just isn't how jokes work. You can't take a quote that has a word with two meanings, then put a picture of the unintended meaning nearby and consider this a joke. And if you can do that, then here you go. Here's an absolutely riotous math joke. Here's another example of non-AI math slop, a fascinating approximation of Euler's number using only ones and zeros. It is truly one of those scintillating and seductive mysteries of mathematics why this approximation works so well. Like Cliff, there are a lot of users that post a combination of fun and interesting math content and what might well be considered 2025 Word of the Year content. The post I really want to look at today is from Fermat's Library, a nearly 1 million follower account who, from what I've seen, doesn't typically post math slop. But at 9:45 a.m. of June 30th this year, Fermat's Library took a little dip into the hog trough and came away with this iconic piece of slop. A couple of hours later, the no doubt devastated Will Kenny responded saying, "Twitter math slop hits a new low." And so the question is raised, why is this simple and elegant formula relating E, pi, I, and phi, the golden ratio, math slop? And if you already know why we would call it math slop, do you agree? And can you think of anything even sloppier? Well, let's start with why this is certified slop. It does look awfully striking, doesn't it? I mean, look at all those famous math symbols. It even has the square root of 5, which the famous Euler's identity doesn't have. In other words, we might say this identity mogs Euler's identity. But getting serious, to see how contrived this slop equation is, you really need to know phi. Phi, the golden ratio, is the special ratio between the long part and the short part in this blue-red segment. What's special about it is that the long part is to the short part as the whole segment is to the long part. That is, the golden ratio A over B is the same as the ratio of A plus B to A. If B, the short part, equals 1, then phi, the golden ratio, would equal A. And thus, from this equation, we would have that phi equals phi plus 1 over phi. This leads to a quadratic, and the quadratic formula gives a negative root, which we discard because we're discussing positive quantities, and the positive root, which is the exact value of our famous ratio. Ruh-roh, look at these two equations. Something's starting to seem a little fishy. Multiply both sides by 2, then subtract 1, and suddenly they look almost identical. Of course, the most famous identity in mathematics that does meaningfully relate many significant quantities is the aforementioned Euler's identity, e to the pi I plus 1 equals 0, or e to the pi I equals minus 1. So then, how do we get this stunning equation? Just take the exact value of phi, move things around a touch, and replace -1 with something that happens to equal it. No doubt there are important pieces of mathematics in this equation, but they've been attached for the sole purpose of creating math Frankenstein slop. Something simple, which was present naturally, has been removed and replaced by something more complex to create the illusion of interconnected beauty. Viewers of the slop didn't hesitate to mock it with their own spins and parodies. Here we have an astounding equation relating the additive identity 0, the multiplicative identity 1, e, pi, phi, I, and the fine structure constant alpha, which is the ratio of the velocity of the electron in the first circular orbit of the Bohr model of the atom to the speed of light in a vacuum. Mathematics and physics intimately connected. Shiver in ecstasy. And here's another good one. Who says e always has to be the base? Did you know that pi to the e plus I times 0 equals 1? Yeah, it's true. pretty incredible. In fact, one of the beautiful things about this identity is we could also throw in a few other numbers, like say the fine structure constant, and maybe the square root of 2. And if you're a middle schooler who wants to make your math teacher throw up, toss in a +6, 7 in here and show this to the Mr. Math in your life. Tell him, you know what, Mr. Math, you're right. Math is beautiful. I mean, just look at this. Sokoban Hero's reply to the original Slop was amusing. He said, writing it as e to the I times pi plus 1 equals 0 instead of just e to the I times pi equals -1 was always a slippery slope. Indeed, the identity as it is typically written is just a rewritten form of an instance of Euler's formula. While most everyone is familiar with how exponents with real numbers work, Euler's formula tells us how to compute e with a complex number exponent. Multiplying e by itself 3 times for e cubed is something anyone can understand, but what about e to the power of a complex number z? Well, any complex number z can also be written as I times x, where x is also complex. And Euler's formula tells us that e to the ix is equal to cosine x plus I times sine x. Not only does this tell us how e with a complex exponent can be computed, but it turns out it's done using the very familiar sine and cosine functions. Then we could plug in pi, which of course plays nice with trig functions. Cosine of pi is -1, and sine of pi is 0, so we end up with e to the I pi equals -1. We thus see that Euler's identity doesn't naturally occur in its popular form. When we put it in this form, it looks slightly more substantial. It doesn't look as much like the result of just plugging a number into a function. And when written this way, it has both 1 and 0, which together are a lot more impressive than just -1. Sokoban Hero's point was that once you make unnecessary alterations to Euler's identity just for the sake of aesthetics, you are beginning on a slippery slope indeed, which I can only imagine leads to this horrific creature at the slope's end. So maybe this is math slop, but we can't say it's irredeemable. To somebody who doesn't know Euler's formula, perhaps this slop is just the thing they need to get them interested in learning some fascinating mathematics. And even if it's a new low for math slop, if this cheap trick is what convinces some casual observers that math is indeed worth shivering in ecstasy for, well, so be it. For fans of math slop, we can all agree it's a great time to be alive. There is more slop among us than one could ever hope to give his thoughts on. In the family of notational abuse slop, this is a famous one that has gone through a few iterations. You get to ask someone a question, and then when they say the right answer, 2, you can appeal to the format of how you've requested their answer. To say, nope, you're wrong, it's supposed to be 200 because I already put a % sign here, you idiot. For some of these, the bar has got so low that not even a little epsilon could shimmy its way beneath this advanced stage slop tent. And if you don't think your slop is quite good enough, you can always throw on a 99% of people failed this challenge, and add some cute emojis too. Indeed, nothing says this is a math challenge worth engaging with like only 1% smart people solve this. Me personally, I prefer people that are 2% smart, at least. At the end of the day, all these slop curators can continue to pump out as much math slop as they please, but they'll forever live in the shadow of my math slop champion, your bummy math tutor, who is the most reliable source, day after day, of completely inane math slop at a level others simply don't have the guts to match. Boy, all this chopping it up about math slop has really got me in a sour mood. I've had a really great 2025, so I'd hate to leave things on such a negative note. Well, I know. why don't we go look at some of my cool calculators over by the Christmas tree? The coolest calculator of all.
And so Wrath of Math yapped and said with a shout, "This is one calc that I can't live without. This one is shiny, this one is cool. This one's a sphere, and this one is pool." Concerned folks would ask him, are there friends he could find? He'd say, "I have my Stuarts, the 1st to the 9th. No math slop could faze him or give him despair, so long as his inflatable still held its air. He never was selfish, for on Christmas night, he wished only for the math sorcerer to learn how to write. But he himself too could learn something more, like how ancient pyramids don't come from Mario 64. And how math is the subject of which he should talk, World War I horses are certainly not. So like and subscribe, and don't change your screen, huh? And never forget, don't mess with Dina.